3 months after my father's funeral, I was going through his belongings when I found a photo I'd never seen. It showed him as a young man, maybe 25, laughing with friends at some long-forgotten celebration. I stared at that image for a long time. The face was recognizably his, but everything else was different. His posture, his expression, even the way he held himself, spoke of someone I'd never known. The man in that photo had dreams my father never mentioned, energy I'd never witnessed, a lightness that had vanished somewhere along the way. Then it hit me. That young man in the photograph had died decades before I ever met my father. Not literally, but every cell in his body, every thought pattern, every aspect of his identity had dissolved and been replaced multiple times over. The person I'd mourned wasn't the same person who'd lived in that photo. Both were my father, and neither was fixed. The question that kept me awake that night: if everything about a person dissolves and renews continuously, what exactly do we lose when someone dies? What I discovered flipped my fear on its head and made sense of why the Buddha insisted on something that sounds impossible. You've already died thousands of times. That insight can soften death anxiety. I'm Peter, and tonight we explore how recognizing the dissolutions you've already survived removes terror from the final dissolution. Episodes 1 and 2 explored what happens during final death and the journey afterward. Tonight, we discover why those experiences won't be foreign territory, because you navigate similar dissolutions constantly. This connects to Buddhism's anicca, impermanence. Everything you can perceive arises, changes, and passes away, without exception, like a river that appears unchanging, but consists of completely different water from moment to moment, including the you listening to these words. Early discourses urge remembering death now, not to darken the day, but to sharpen attention. The Buddha's final words capture this teaching. All conditioned things are impermanent. Work out your salvation with diligence. Traditionally, maranasati meant remembering the certainty of death, sometimes through corpse contemplations or karmic reflection. Traditional Buddhist death practices were often stark, contemplating decaying bodies, reflecting on karmic debts, remembering that death could come at any moment. These weren't meant to comfort, but to create urgency about spiritual practice. What I'll share tonight is gentler, but serves the same purpose: reducing attachment to what's impermanent. Buddhism identifies 3 levels of continuous dissolution: your body dissolving and renewing constantly, your identity dissolving and reforming each moment, your consciousness dissolving and arising like waves. These dissolutions aren't death itself, but they train the mind in letting go. They don't make death easy or solve grief. They make impermanence familiar, which trains the mind to let go. Each time you meet change without clinging, you rehearse the same release you'll need at life's end. The Buddha's teaching about the Rupa Skandha, the form aggregate, addresses this directly. In the Samyutta Nikaya, he offers striking imagery. The body is like a lump of foam, consciousness like a magic trick. Physical form appears solid and permanent, but constantly dissolves and reforms. Right now, your body demonstrates this. Red blood cells live about 120 days before dissolving completely. Skin cells renew every 2 to 3 weeks. Most tissues have turned over significantly over years. Bodies aren't wholesale replaced. They're ongoing processes with mixed turnover. Some fast, some slow, some cells long-lived. Some neurons appear long-lived. Adult neurogenesis is limited and debated. Different organs dissolve and renew at different rates. Your stomach lining replaces itself every few days. Your liver shows remarkable regenerative capacity when injured. though normal hepatocyte turnover varies significantly. Here's the image I teach. Your body resembles a campfire viewed from a distance. The flames appear constant and stable, but different fuel burns each moment. Pattern continues. Matter changes. Panic optional. I once heard someone in cancer treatment describe it this way. Cell death wasn't destroying me, it was healing me. I shifted from my dying cells to dissolution is happening within awareness. Cancer occurs when programmed cell death, apoptosis, malfunctions, when cells refuse to dissolve beyond their natural cycle. Cellular dissolution isn't the problem. It's the solution enabling life. Your body has been practicing dissolution and renewal continuously. The dissolution that seems terrifying at life's end is actually familiar. You've experienced it billions of times at the cellular level. But physical dissolution prepares you for something even more immediate. After my father's death, sleep became terrifying, not from grief alone, but from recognizing that falling asleep resembled dying. The gradual loss of control, fading awareness, identity, dissolving into nothing. I lay awake night after night, afraid to let go. That's when I discovered how death contemplation can use sleep as practice ground, though this represents modern application rather than traditional instruction. In the Abhidhamma analytical model, awareness happens in ultra-rapid mind moments. The exact tempo matters less than recognizing the flicker, especially as consciousness transitions between waking and sleep. Every night something remarkable happens. Your sense of personal identity dissolves. Memory of daily concerns disappears. Psychological boundaries fade completely. In deep sleep, the sense of me drops out. From the inside, it often feels seamless on waking. Contemplatives say this impression helps practice, even while acknowledging it remains a mystery. Contemplatives sometimes describe this as a kind of continuity, though whether awareness truly persists is one of the great mysteries. Sleep terrified me because I unconsciously recognized its resemblance to dying, ego dissolution, identity fading, consciousness transitioning between states. But approaching sleep as dissolution practice transformed my relationship completely. Instead of fighting the dissolution, I began observing it with curiosity. 3 breaths at lights out. 1. This body releases. 2. This mind softens. 3. Awareness remains. During that twilight between waking and sleep, you can catch consciousness letting go. Personal identity softens. The solid sense of self dissolves. From the inside, it feels like something witnesses the entire transition. What I discovered changed everything. The awareness observing psychological dissolution was the same awareness that would navigate actual death. I wasn't preparing for future experience, but recognizing something indestructible operating right now. Don't drift, release into sleep. Looking at that photo of my father revealed something profound. The you who began this sentence dissolved before it ended. This captures the Buddha's insight about consciousness itself. Consciousness operates like movie frames. Each moment of awareness arises, peaks, and dissolves, replaced by the next moment. The stream appears continuous, but consists of discrete moments arising and passing faster than perception can detect. As Nagasena tells King Milinda, continuity is conventional designation, like calling parts a chariot, useful for communication, not ultimate reality. The Buddha taught in the Samyutta Nikaya, what you think of as you is just a collection of changing processes. There is no permanent, unchanging self to be found anywhere. Consider your emotional landscape today. Morning anxiety became afternoon excitement, became evening contentment. Yesterday's certainty became today's doubt, became tonight's clarity. Where did those previous emotional states go? They dissolved completely. The person experiencing anger this morning and the person listening now share memory continuity, but represent different identity moments entirely. This applies to every aspect of selfhood, opinions, preferences, your sense of identity. All arise and pass away continuously. What feels like stable selfhood is rapid succession of identity moments, each slightly different from the last. Most people find this terrifying. If there's no continuous self, who am I? But recognizing identity dissolution creates profound freedom. When someone criticizes you, which you are they criticizing? A shadow already gone. When shame about past actions arises, who performed those actions? That identity configuration dissolved and was replaced by new consciousness moments. When anxiety about the future appears, who will experience that future? The current identity will have dissolved thousands of times before tomorrow. This isn't nihilism, but liberation from suffering created by identifying with temporary mental formations. My transformation came through recognizing a paradox. What experiences all these dissolutions remains untouched by dissolution. Your cells dissolve continuously, but awareness of cellular activity continues. Identity dissolves during sleep, but awareness recognizes continuity upon waking. Thoughts and emotions arise and pass away, but the consciousness observing them never comes or goes. Buddhist teachings describe this progression clearly, as the Dhammapada teaches. When you see with wisdom that all conditioned things are impermanent, you turn away from suffering. This is the path of purification. Understand impermanence, loosen clinging. Loosen clinging, suffering eases. Suffering eases, freedom grows. These aren't rehearsals for dying, they're rehearsals for releasing. Each time we meet, change without clinging. We strengthen the exact skill needed at life's end. My death anxiety transformed through this recognition. If awareness survived billions of cellular dissolutions, millions of psychological dissolutions, thousands of sleep dissolutions, what exactly dissolves at physical death? The body dissolving at death has been dissolving continuously. The personality ending at death has been ending and renewing continuously. The thoughts ceasing at death have been arising and ceasing continuously. From this Buddhist perspective, death reveals nothing entirely new. It shows what's been happening continuously. Ajahn Chah taught, in essence, the body is like a cart. When it breaks down, we don't cry over the cart, but recognize what was using it. He told dying students, you think you're losing something, but you're discovering what was never yours. The awareness, knowing the body is dying. Can that awareness die? The shift changes everything. Death becomes fascinating rather than terrifying, familiar rather than foreign, intimate rather than alien, because you've been navigating dissolution successfully your entire life. Understanding continuous dissolution transforms daily life. Relationships become precious because I recognize their changing nature. Conflicts dissolve faster because I see both positions changing constantly. But intellectual understanding differs from embodied recognition. These practices, inspired by Buddhist principles but adapted for modern application, help integrate these insights. Scan your body, recognizing cellular renewal. Notice soreness, healing, energy, fatigue. Note, pattern continues, matter changes, awareness unchanging. Start with just noticing. After weeks of practice, you might feel less panic when your body changes. After months, aging becomes less threatening. This isn't instant, it's gradual rewiring. Observe ego dissolution happening naturally. This body releases. This mind softens. Awareness remains. Don't expect profound peace immediately. You're building tolerance for ego dissolution. Some nights you'll resist. Some you'll surrender easily. Both are practice. Catch thoughts dissolving. When anger fades, excitement passes, worry transforms. Note, dissolution happened, and I remained to witness it. Notice how thoughts actually end. They don't gradually fade. They just stop. This builds confidence that consciousness can witness endings without being ended. Start with small emotions. Work up to bigger attachments. A viewer caring for her mother with Alzheimer's wrote to us, "I stopped grieving the mother I was losing and started recognizing the awareness remaining constant through all changes." For those wanting traditional Buddhist death contemplation, research maranasati practices from teachers like Ajahn Chah, or study the corpse meditation sections of the Satipatthana Sutta. What I've shared are gentle introductions to much deeper practices. These practices reveal something. Awakening isn't achieving future states, but recognizing the deathless awareness operating through all changes, dissolutions, renewals. Every cell dissolving in your body dissolves to enable life. Every psychological state dissolving allows growth. Every identity configuration ending permits evolution. Dissolution isn't life's enemy, but life's most skillful teacher. This teaching connects directly to our previous episodes. Remember the 4 questions every dying person asks. Each level of daily dissolution provides familiarity. What will it feel like? Familiar. Will I stay aware? Yes. Awareness remained through every dissolution. Who dies? No substantial self exists to be lost. Cellular dissolution shows dying feels like renewal, not termination. Sleep dissolution shows awareness witnesses all transitions. Identity dissolution shows no substantial self exists to be lost. Now, I need to be honest. Understanding impermanence intellectually doesn't eliminate all death anxiety. The finality of death, losing everyone you love, facing the complete unknown, these remain profound challenges. What these practices offer is familiarity with the process of letting go, which can make that final letting go less foreign. It's training, not immunity. We're not saying death equals sleep or cell turnover, only that your mind can learn how to meet change, and that skill transfers. The 49-day journey from episode 2, you navigate versions constantly. Dreams where thoughts create reality, emotional states generating entire worlds, transitions between different identity configurations. Buddhism includes death awareness as fundamental mindfulness practice, though traditional maranasati focuses more on death's certainty and karmic consequences than the applications we've explored tonight. Understanding your own dissolutions prepares you to help others facing loss, because you've recognized that what seems lost was never as solid as it appeared, and what seems to die reveals something that was never born. We have explored Buddhism's insight into anicca, impermanence; dukkha, suffering from clinging; anatta, no fixed self to cling to. Recognizing impermanence intellectually is one thing, feeling it in the flicker of each moment is liberation. You've experienced cellular dissolution, psychological dissolution, identity dissolution millions of times. Each dissolution enabled renewal. Each ending created space for beginning. If you've survived countless dissolutions and remained aware to witness each one, what will final dissolution actually take? Understanding your dissolutions through contemplative practice prepares you for something challenging, helping others discover peace when facing loss. Next week, we'll explore how recognizing continuous impermanence transforms how we support others through loss. Why Buddhist grief practices differ from traditional mourning. Most cultures see grief as tragedy. Buddhism reframes it as teacher. When nothing substantial dissolves because nothing was as solid as it appeared, grief becomes gateway to wisdom rather than despair. You are the awareness that has navigated every dissolution, change, transformation you've ever encountered. Final death isn't a test, it's a pattern you already pass. If this loosened your fear of death, subscribe and ring the bell for next week's Guide to Grief. Share this with someone carrying that weight today. In the comments, which daily dissolution shifted your view the most? Remember, you've been navigating dissolution successfully your entire life. Contemplatives report a felt sense that knowing outlasts changing contents. Buddhist teachings invite exploring that intuition and practice, without pretending the mystery is solved. Until next time, stay curious, stay wise, and recognize the deathless awareness reading these words right now.